So in this short video, I will share with you exactly how you can first of all figure out where you can actually implement AI inside of your OnlyFans management agency. And then secondly, how you can actually go ahead and start to automate things, speed things up, and save loads of time and make loads of money. All right. So I've got my trusty whiteboard and I'll give you the presentation today so you can visualize exactly what I mean and how you can start all of this. So first of all, I think most people have the idea and the concept of AI completely the wrong way around. I think most people, for context, by the way, my agency does $500,000 a month. We actively use AI inside of our agency in practically every aspect of the business. And this diagram, by the way, for full transparency, I saw Alex Hormozi talking about it, and the way that he described it in this way is the most simplest way to understand it, but I'll give it to you regarding OnlyFans management, right? So how can you understand it with an OFM? So as I was saying, I think most people have it the wrong way around. Most people think AI is, first of all, this super genius thing that is just knows everything and it's super, super smart. So if you are setting up your own Claude bot as an example, it's actually the opposite. It's basically this stupid thing that doesn't know anything. However, once you tell it something, it will never ever forget. And the more you tell it things, the more it's going to know exactly who you are, what you do, how you do things. And then the more prompts you give it, the more it remembers, and then therefore it can help you with more and more things. But initially, when you create it, it knows nothing. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is most people, especially the employees, right, and the staff, most people have the idea that AI is here to completely replace people as a whole, right? Now, of course, there are some use cases where you literally can, where there are literally some virtual assistant jobs which are no longer needed. These are typically the click this, then click that. Those type of jobs, those type of virtual assistant roles, yes, you can completely remove them or replace them with something like a Claude bot, which we have inside of my agency, but that's not for this video. But in reality, in most cases, by the way, it is quite different. So that's why I wanted to get this board and share with you guys what I mean by that. So this is how Hormozi explained it. Again, full transparency, props to him. But in essence, this is how he explained it, right? So let's just say this is you and this is your company, right? And then you obviously have different department heads for different departments within your business. So in OnlyFans management, you have your client acquisition, then you have your chatting, and then you have your marketing, right? Let's just say there's obviously a lot more. You have about retention and so on and so on. But let's just use these three examples, right? So these department heads, and these are the managers of each one of these departments, they will not only have people underneath them that they're in charge of managing. So for example, our client acquisition manager, he has a bunch of VAs that do the initial outreach. Then he has a different VA that does the follow-ups. For example, the guy who manages the entire chatting operation. Underneath him, he'll have the chatter managers, and then underneath them, there'll be all the chatters, and you get the idea, right? However, for each one of these department heads, and you could even go as far as some of the VAs and so on, but let's just focus on these more important C-suite roles, okay, for this video. They have, at least the way that is the easiest way to explain it, is they have like certain projects that they have to do every single day. So kind of these black dots, right, are the projects and the overall like big task that they have to do every single day, right? There are certain things that they just simply have to do every single day. So whether it's daily or weekly, you get the idea. So let's just use the marketing director as this example. And let's just say this black dot right here represents making the content plan for the week for the clients, right? So some people do it weekly, some people do it daily, but let's just use this in this example. This right here is the project of content ideation and coming up with the 70-20-10 or however you guys do it, right? You get the idea. Now, in order for him to complete this like project, right, which is again, sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, he has different tasks and milestones within that project that he needs to complete. And then once he has done all of these, then the actual project in itself is complete. So let me give you a prime example, okay? So if the project is content ideation, the end goal being however you do it, let's just say it's a Google document and it's written down, do this reel, here's how to do it, do this reel, here's how to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then here's how you can remake them and blah, blah. And then that's the end goal, right? And in order to do that, let's just say the first step is to identify the winning reels, AKA you literally go through Instagram, look at what's performing, outperforming other reels, what's going viral and so on, right? That's step one. Then let's say next step is to collect all of these reels into a Google Sheet, and then you need to organize it from a case of most viewed to least viewed, right? And then the next step is you want to take the top 3, top 5, top 10. Everybody does it differently. I'm just giving you the fucking example, right? And this step is to take the top 5, put it into a Google document, and now reiterate them and try and come up with new versions of the reel. So let's just say one of the viral reels is the girl walking across the road. And then you're going to come up with 5 different variations of how to slightly change it, right? So different outfits, different locations, and you get the idea, right? And you get blah, blah, blah. So, and then, then you have to put it in a document, then you send it to the client and you make sure the client's seen it and she's happy and she's creating it, right? Now, let's just say this is the project that this marketing director is in charge of completing. And as you can see, there are certain milestones within there that he has to do in order to complete the project, right? And this is where I need you to start thinking on how and how you can start to implement AI inside of your agency. It is not that you will set up this fucking Claude bot that will completely, get rid of this marketing director and this Claude bot does everything for you. And to an extent, it's also not that this Claude bot or this AI will completely take content ideation as a whole and completely replace, this as a role inside of your agency. But instead, it can speed up the process of your marketing director when it comes to creating this project or finishing this project. And this right here, I should probably have a different pen right here, but these things right here, this is where AI comes in. So for example, if you remember at the beginning, I mentioned that the first step is to go through the Instagram account and find the winning reels, aka all you do is with your eyes, you're looking at the reels, and if the average views are 10,000, you're looking at ones that got 80,000 views or more, right? You just have to, with your eyes, see, boom, boom. You can 100% automate that with AI. Okay, next step is to take the link of these reels, put it into a Google spreadsheet, and then organize it from most viewed to least viewed. That can easily be done with AI. And then the last step is, okay, now you take the top 5, and then you just need to think, okay, how can this client remake these viral videos because they've already performed well? What kind of ideas can I come up with to redo it, right? And again, as long as you prompt it the correct way, it can throw ideas at you. And then the marketing director, instead of wasting 25 minutes on this, wasting maybe another 5-10 minutes on this, and then this one for sure but taking 20 minutes or so, this whole thing can save an entire 1 hour per day per client. And if you have many clients, all of a sudden you can save 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 hours per week for your marketing director. And now, let's just say you set it up the correct way. The marketing director comes in, does his correct prompt for his Claude bot, for example. It's done the heavy lifting, and then he just quality checks it, proof checks that it's all correct. Yes, yes, no, change a few little things here and there. Boom. All of a sudden, that's done. Now, you can extrapolate this lesson and this idea for every single different role. For example, another one of our roles that we're actively doing it for is recruitment. Anyway, another example of where we are actively using this exact ideology and this method is inside of our recruitment department. So we have an entire department inside of our business, which is all for recruitment. So predominantly, about 80% of the time, they're just in charge of recruiting new chatters as we're scaling and replacing the shit ones. However, sometimes, she also is in charge of hiring new marketing people, like new videographers, new editors, new outreach assistants, and you get the idea, right? Whoever we need to hire. Now, again, the project, so let's just say this is the project right here, and this project is chatter recruitment, right? And in order to complete that, there are many, many tasks within there and milestones within there, the same as the marketing director. So let's just say the first one is when the paid ads are running. The next one is the applications come in through a type form, and she has to go through hundreds of applications and shortlist them. Then the next one is, once she shortlists them, she conversates with them on WhatsApp back and forth to test their grammar and any spelling mistakes, right? Boom. these right here have been automated via AI already. So the AI will shortlist people based off of criteria that we have asked and trained it on. Then the AI will have a conversation with them on WhatsApp. And as soon as there is a spelling or a grammatical error from the chatter's point of view, she gets notified straight away, and it saves her so much time, so much time. The next step, at least for us, is we then ask them to do 2 tests, which is a Wi-Fi speed test and a typing speed test. And boom, there again, based off of how we've programmed it and how we've trained it, it will then like either approve them or disapprove them. If they approved, and only then, once they've gone through all of this and the AI saved all this time, only then the recruitment manager will actually speak with them, jump on a Zoom call with them, and actually interview them. Guys, this is one of the most pivotal moments right now on just, I think, online in general. Like, this is literally where you can have this insanely super hardworking 24/7, don't ask for breaks assistant that can help you achieve so many endless things. And I think most people have the wrong concept and outlook on this, is where they think that they need to have this like one genius superhuman bot that does everything. But in reality, you need to have multiple bots for each one of your department heads. So your client acquisition manager should have his own Claude bot. Your recruitment manager should have their own Claude bot. Your marketing director should have his own Claude bot, and you get the idea, right? That is how you get the most out of it. If you're interested in all this, you can check out the links down below. I don't help people who are just getting started with OFM. However, if you are existing and you're around the 6-figure a month mark and you want to get way past $500,000 a month, you know where to find me.